Kopono ea, ea imua uo mau. Keia o kaiana. Kopono ea, ea imua uo mau. Keia o kaiana. Kopono ea, ea imua uo mau. Keia o kaiana. Kopono ea, ea imua uo mau. Ke ea o ka aina I ka pono. Ua mau ke ea o ka aina I ka pono. The life of the land perpetuates only in righteousness.
Next song we do is Hooligans. They call themselves the Hawaiian Style Band. We recorded this song goes like this.
Celebration on the palace ground. People need to know what's going down. There's a proclamation from the powers that lead. Our island nation has got to be free. Oh, living in a sovereign land. Island people come together as one for future generations under the sun, singing songs of freedom, singing songs of love, living in a sovereign land. Our children deserve to know what went down 100 years ago. You can be the man, you can take the land, but you can't take the truth away. Oh, Lord, living in a sovereign land. Lord, living in a sovereign land. Our children deserve to know what went down 100 years ago. You can be the man, you can take the land, but you can't take the truth away. Oh, Lord, living in a sovereign land. Oh, Lord, living in a sovereign land.
Y'all let me know this guitar.
Living in a sovereign land.
Aloha kakahia kakako e nā poe aloha aina o keia pai aina o ko Hawaii pai aina. Welcome to the Darkside of Hawaiian Politics, Hawaiian Kingdom News. 127 years of illegality, corruption, crimes, collusion, solutions, and everything thereafter. Welcome to the Hawaiian Kingdom News, genocide, 127 years continuing injustice. We need justice now. Aloha e kaua I o mo I keha. Aloha e o ahu nui a lua. Aloha e maui nui a kama. Aloha e kamoku o nā li'i o ke ave. Aloha e moloka nui a hina. Aloha e ko Hawaii pai aina. And now, with the anila, the weather, the national crisis.
Good morning, Kako. Aloha. Saturday, June 13th, 2020. Out in Honokaa town today, your highs is 82, low 64. Down out in Hilo town, your highs is 83, your lows is 69 with a slight overcast. Out in Pahoa, your highs is 81, your lows is 66. Up in Volcano, your highs is 74, lows 57, with a lot of overcast. And out in Nalehu, you have a slight overcast with 78 highs, low 67. And out in Captain Crook, you got highs 78, low 64. And your hot zone is Kailua at 86, low 73. And down in Waikoloa, 83 highs, low 63. And Kauai High, 86 high, low 68. And that is your weather for Mokuokeawe and your surf report for Mokuokeawe. Today, your east shores are facing 3 to 6. Your north is a 1 to 3. Your west is a 1 to 3. And your south is a 2 to 4. So we got some waves out in the east and south. Be safe. Make sure practicing social distancing while in big gathering areas, and stop by Mauna Kea if you guys have a chance to. Say aloha to the family for us. And now, back to DJ Derbs for the Mana Olelo of today.
Haoli lahanau e Kamehameha Nui e Kahi. Happy birthday, King Kamehameha e Kahi, the Hawaiian Kingdom founder of the internationally recognized neutral nation state at one point. Happy birthday to all of his legacies and hana that he did. So the Mana Olelo for today is one from his famous saying, from the famous battle in Iao Valley, Wailuku Maui, one of the greatest battles in our history, where Lopaka was utilized by Kamehameha e Kahi upon our people. So, e inu I ka vai awaawa. When that time gets tough, when that time gets rough, you gotta dig deep, deep down to pull out of it. When it's the last moment, your last breath, and you gotta fight through it. Kako e nā po e Hawaii, you gotta fight through it. Remember, e inu I ka vai awaawa. So when you look up the word awaawa, it says bitter, sour, tart, acid, fermented, brackish, bitterness, sourness, unpleasant, disagreeable, harsh, bad-tempered, tragic experience, anguish, kako. 127 years of injustice. Those are the words for the Mana Olelo. So when you look up Inu I ka vai awaawa, you get 84 hits. And I chose this one in Kaleo o Kalahui, the newspaper, June 17, 1891, titled No Ale Ale Ke Koa Kaulana. It says, O ke ia ale ale, oia ke kahi o na koa I ke kaua a ka nui aina Kamehameha e Kahi I nu'uanu. A I loko o ia kaua, o paneku ua liona hai la o ka moana paki pika nei. The Lion of the Pacific, it says. Ka Napoleona ho'i o Hawaii kua uli. The Napoleon of Hawaii. I mua e o upo ki'i, a e inu I ka vai awaawa. A ole ho'i, e ho'i hope ke kahi. Move forward, my children. Move forward, my companions. Move forward, my warriors. We shall not ever retreat. We shall not ever retreat. Ina o ka mea o oko e kuemi ana. A laila e mahele aku no au ia ia I loko o na apana e lua. So, the message Mana Olelo for today is remembering e inu I ka vai awaawa, from the birth of our founder of the Hawaiian Kingdom, Kamehameha, the great Napoleon of the Pacific, the Lion of the great ocean of the Pacific. We want justice for you. We want justice for all of those that's fallen. And that's why we're here today. That's why I'm here today.
We're all here today.
Mahalo.
All right, so
Before we move on, we need to follow the words of Kamehameha the Great. We need to end injustice in the Hawaiian Kingdom for 127 years. We need to move forward. We need to move forward. We cannot stagnate. We cannot stutter. We cannot, take a back step. We need to move forward and expose the 127 years of the U.S. occupation.
Cornerstone, KP. Thank you for that, Mana'o. Definitely historical, unforgettable legacy. And before we get into the Smash or Pass, I noticed during our weather, Anake out in Ka'u was sharing that they needed some support out in Ka'u for missing fishermen out in Punalu'u. So if you guys have any ohana out there who can help assist in any way, please go out and check out the ohana out in Punalu'u. They need some assistance with some fishermen that are lost out there. So keep them in your prayers. And if you can send out help, please do. And thank you guys for helping us report these news as it flows in. We can distribute it as fast as we receive it. Cornerstone and DJ Derbs. This episode, Smash or Pass, we have two more, vocabulary we wanted to issue because of the great conversations that we have. And DJ Derbs, could you show a couple of our new vocabulary that we're going to be using throughout our Smash or Pass
Solution.
episodes?
Kako, everybody, solution. So we evolving our program to add more vocabulary words, and when we recognize a solution to a problem, we'll call it out as a solution.
Yes.
And from weeks of doing news, 31 episodes, the other word we want to expand our knowledge on to recognize these settler colonials who cloak themselves as equality for all of America as collusion. Collusion. So when they work together, when they combine their forces in a systematic way to do some kind of crime from the 127 years of corruption, we're going to label that as collusion.
And explain why we use collusion. So, thank you, DJ Derbs. This week's Smash or Pass, first up on the chopping block, DJ Derbs, has been a crazy week for Moko, Keawe, Ohana, and throughout Ko Hawaii Pai Aina. We've been suffering from so many pandemics, but this one right here, DJ Derbs, we need to start it off right and bring everybody's attention to what's been on our island and on our hearts and minds. DJ Derbs, what's first?
So all you keyboard warriors out there, coming up Tuesday, June 16, 2020, is the County Council meeting. That's the result of our first issue today. Hawaii's County Council, County of Hawaii, Office of Matt Klein, Kaneali'i Kleinfelder, brings up the issue of missing children on the Big Island. So we need you and everyone to participate through email and testimony to make this a larger issue. Okay? Because when you look at the statistics of the missing children on Hawaii Island, it's just unconscionable that I can almost guarantee, I can almost bet, I'll put a good bet on it, let's put it that way, human trafficking of our keiki is taking place.
Oh, yes.
So we need to stop that immediately. We need to smash that. So I'm going to smash that for the missing children getting stolen. So watch out for that blue tape and that zip tie on top the mirror, because that's what they're saying they're targeting the keiki as. And I just want to give Matt a solution. Thanks for the solution of creating the meeting now to ask these questions of the police department. So let's ask Kako and start the investigation and stop this trafficking of our Hawaii keiki immediately.
Cornerstone, Mana'o.
All right, the most important thing is the safety of our keikis. And I applaud the councilman to actually bring up this serious issue about the trafficking of our keikis, and we need to find solutions to this epidemic, because if you look now, sometimes it's like 2 or 3 keikis are missing. So we need to bring this issue to the forefront. And so I give Matt a pass, and also because of his work, he's part of the solution to end sex trafficking on Hawaii Island.
Oh man, our condolences goes out to the Moko Keawe Ohana and those who lost their keikis or their keikis have not been found yet. We've been trying our best to bring these things to light, and it seemed to have gotten worse. Operation Keiki Shield is a solution that we should be highly forcing our government officials to highly look at. We have done a story about this a few episodes back, and they have successfully in Maui been able to address this issue. But whereas Moko Keawe, these issues stem on Hawaiian homelands properties, which William Bill Malaya and his campaign of cronies and colonizers have failed to protect. These keikis are being violated at Home Depot in Paneava. Some of these attempts have been on Crest Cinemas on Hawaiian homelands. Some of these attempts have been in Walmart on Hawaiian homelands. The last post that our community has responded to attempt happened in Lele'iwi on Hawaiian homelands. So, with all the money that is being spent to evict, to arrest our kupuna, I think it would be wise if the Department of Homeless Hawaiians, who can't even put Hawaiians on, start protecting our keiki. They're quick to pull over people with tags expired, other miscellaneous minor misdemeanors. But when our children and our keiki are stolen and nobody has a clue where these keikis are, we need to do a better job. And for that, I have to give a pass to Kaniala Ali'i Kleinfeld for addressing this issue. We've been addressing it for quite some time right now, but the media has kind of put a blackout to the urgency. We need an Amber Alert in Moko Keawe, and we need all of the same tools that they have in those American states and other states. When a child goes missing, we have an instant alert going directly to our phone, the location and the place of time where these keikis are gone. And that should be a minimal requirement for the state of Hawaii and our dinosaur mayor, Spicy Kimchi, to invest in our keiki. And that is a tough topic for us to talk about, but that's why we're here. We need to shed the light on all of our missing keikis who have not returned home, Kane and Wahine, and we need to do a better job. And Kleinfeld is stepping up. So if you are a politician, if you have kids, follow the lead of a parent, a serious parent who has a solution. Kaniala Ali'i Kleinfeld. Next up, DJ Derbs.
Everybody's been wanting to talk about this guy or these guys, as you can see. All of the things that I've been hearing, though, concerns me, especially with all of the sex crimes that's happening and all of the discourse going about human trafficking and the networks of human traffickers that was being caught across America in the hundreds. Just a whole network of stealing children, raping children, abusing children. And then when you hear outsiders come to our peaceful, neutral nation state, the Hawaiian Kingdom, with these kind of stories that come with them, I'm concerned. So I gotta say mahalo to the HPD for picking them up, because you provided a solution. Now let's interrogate them, let's investigate them, and make sure no child, no keiki will get hurt from these guys.
Cornerstone. Did you catch a little bit about this?
Yes. First of all, I would like to thank the community who
Yes,
actually,
vigilant.
they was watching these individuals actually coming into Puna, and they also alerted HPD on these individuals who actually was kicked out from several Central America nations. And what is very disturbing is that some of the allegations on this so-called cult is sex crimes. Yeah. So we need to put these people on the top of the list, and we need these people out of our nation state, because we don't need more trouble in our occupied country. And so we just need to be vigilant and watch these people as they they move within our islands. So I give the HPD and the Puna community a pass.
Carbon Nation is what they go by. If you guys have a chance, go ahead and check out their reality show. They have a reality show. I think this is season 3 or 4, and so you guys can see a little bit more insight of these individuals and the repeated things that they do. This individual with the abuse of his women, and some other profound things with the keikis. And as our culture, as the context that you live in, we have a great respect for our wahine and our keikis within our homes. So when it's interesting because Star Tribune and Herald responds to them as a cult, and Star Advertisers and we got a couple reports, they just named them as a group. But once again, these people broke quarantine, and they found out via Instagram and their reality show. And where did they go first? Just like Harry Kim wanting to leave Keaukaha Gym open as the only 2 gyms to be open, he and every other tourist goes to Hawaiian homelands. And right before these individuals came, there was a story of a wahine that almost got taken at Lele'iwi. That's exactly the areas where these people were. I'm not going to jump to a conclusion to say that they were a part of these things, right? But I would like to put a point on that our community is on high alert. We already have our Amber Alerts on. Our community is on watch. Our kia'is are 24/7. Our homesteads are locked down via family members and our community. And this is what, if it wasn't for our community, the cops would have not been in this position to go ahead and apprehend these people who are at multiple locations. This is phase 4, Kako. Let's not get Alzheimer's all of a sudden. There's still phases to be going through. Nobody said the phases were over. Short-term rental leases is an issue. All of these things that they continue to do and conduct in front of our dinosaur mayor, Kim Chi, and they allow these issues to manifest themselves, and then they show up on our shores. Well, I like to mahalo our community for stepping up and doing it. Once again, holding these people accountable to the quarantine. The government should be making follow-up calls on a daily basis to these homes and following up to make sure that these individuals are at their homes. Because now we want to address this because we have an individual who's a leader of some sort, and he's using it as a race bait. Yes? Try to get the race card pulled up on our Moko Keawe families, saying we don't have aloha, saying we don't have these things that he's saying, that we're calling him these derogatories as if we don't have family members of color. So these kind of people are definitely moles to be put here to experiment and try to get the racism to come out of our Kanaka during this Black Lives Matter movement out of nowhere. He comes up here, he claims that he's not hurting nobody with aloha, but he violates the quarantine to get our community, who has been in timeout for 3 months. We've been in timeout. We only can go as needed to work if you're essential. We can barely even go to the beach till now. And then we have a swarm of individuals coming in. And the government knows because they signed a document prior to leaving the airport. They signed an agreement. These people have not had they don't have a permanent address.
No.
They don't even have a permanent ID. So what goes for those individuals who were down Waikiki and all these other places was when they violated, they went back home to the ID that they had in their hand.
Yes.
And that
Correct.
is a solution that we all must consider, because we know that the community on Moko Keawe was in a storm when they found out about these kind of possibilities. And that's why we want you guys to check out their series, check out what they are, know for yourself. Because I think by seeing these things happening right now, we have to question the intent and the timing of these things, that these issues are arising, and how the government somehow puts up a program to allow people to be monitored, but they lose track of them, and they don't even know how much people are staying in these homes, and if are these rental homes or whatnot.
Yes. And, one of their practices is that they don't bathe. So we can smell them a mile away.
Okay.
Okay.
Great. So there you go, Kako. This was a high topic for our island, because we know the issues at hand, which was a topic we expressed earlier with our keikis being the highest exposed and being missing in a short amount of time, so many people, that when we see these influx of people, naturally our families are concerned. It's not out of racism. It's not out of fear. It's about natural concerns. 2 days before you arrived, a woman was chased to her car with certain markings on their car. So please be maka'ala, Kako, about this race bait and how people try to bait us into talking about this race issues. Stay far clear from them, Kako. Aloha ike kahi, knows no color. Do your research. Look up these individuals, just like how you'd research your recipes or research these elements when you guys are home doing issues. Research, know these tendencies and who these individuals are. Ask those questions. We have the internet. And by you guys doing it, you guys can come up to the conclusion, are these people worthy of being researched more, followed with more cautiousness, or should we be more distanced from these kind of acts and activities if they are true? So with that being said, we cannot give a smash. We have to give a smash to the Carbon Nation just occurring with the audacity of talking the way they talk and the way that they present the things that they present without even knowing the true moku'auhau of Ko'awa'i Pai'aina and the struggles that we have been doing or what we have endured. And I have to say, it's just a gut that they got to be in collusion with the government, for the government allowing this to happen for 3 days before even attempting to understand the significant ramification of going to Hawaiian homelands when our kids are being stolen during a time of pandemic and we don't even have an opportunity to go to the beach. We're going to talk about it, I'm assuming, within the next series or so, but DJ Derbs, without further ado, kalamai au. Next up.
So it was on Railroad, yeah. They didn't pick them up, HPP, yesterday. So anyway, next issue is, not issue, but technical difficulties. But Hawaii News Now, headline, no jail time for former HPD officer charged with sexually assaulting child. How can you comprehend this? After we just been talking about human, child, possibly sex trafficking here in Hawaii, the archipelago, and on the Big Island at alarming numbers, alarming. numbers. No jail time. I just can't put those two words together. Sexually assaulting child and no jail time. That just makes no sense. I don't know how we can allow this to continue, Kako. And this is all of us, Kako. If this is okay with you, then kalamayo. But it's not okay with me. So I got a smash on that. And I got a collusion on the no jail time for this one. Collusion, conspiracy. Let's check it out. Investigate this.
Cornerstone.
All right, so we have an individual who was actually a former policeman, right? Mm-hmm. If I'm corrected. Okay, and what he did is unacceptable in our community for sex crimes against a child. So we cannot, just look the other way and say, oh, okay, So to me, it's that we need to stand up and people need to hear our voices because this is unacceptable. And with no jail time, it's simply collusion within HPD. They're going to protect their own. So it's a collusion, okay, within HPD and the fake state. And I also give the individual a smash.
So, Kako, the dark side, a little bit more what we want to discuss. So, no jail time for this individual who has violated our keiki. Yes? So, there was a keiki down by the Poi factory, less than a mile from the police station, right,
Yes.
KP? Our love and our support goes out to their family, as fathers in this community. This individual, that's where the officers run their beat.
Right.
It's less than a mile away from their home base. And these individuals, this elder, I think it was Nakanishi or Nakashima, you guys got to check up on the news feed. These individual got her drugged and did whatever to her right less than a mile away. Right less than a mile away. And this is what I mean. It's almost unfathomable that these officers who raped, who have repeatedly, the term is repeatedly, multiple time, 5-year-old, this is an assault on our family itself, our nation, and our core beliefs of being Kanaka. The ones that are screaming here to protect you, to hold the badge, are the first people to violate our sacred source, which is our children, our keiki. And this is the actions. It's just being brought out. These things are just being brought out. These things have been rampant in the jail, in the prison, in police custody, outside on the back corners, when these illegal officers or these officers with the badge pull over these individuals and they conduct whatever they do. And now these are the things you see in the constant future of them doing it to our keikis. Repeatedly, he's an officer. He should have known what's better. But that's why I got a smash. And just like everything else happening with the officers is a collusion. Yeah? A conspiracy. Just like Anakala said, a conspiracy, collusion to continue to do these things, smuggle drugs into our prisons, consistently, repeatedly rape our children. This is a collusion.
Yes.
This is a collusion. They're allowing this, Kako. This is not a one-time incident. This is repeatedly. These are your higher authority figures that collusions with all of the sickest things that you can think about that they swore to protect. And that is a smash and a collusion mark. DJ Derbs, what is next? Or is it
Cape.
KP for the South Pacific COVID-19 update and international community news.
Right, live from Hawaiian Kingdom News. This is KP with the South Pacific COVID-19 data. Okay, as we go to Aotearoa, their number at 1,504, and their prime minister has just declared they're COVID-19 free. Okay, as we go on to American Samoa, they have 0 cases. Cook Islands, they have 0 cases. Guam has stabilized as just 151 cases. As we move on to Fiji, they also, they're at only 18, and they've been stabilized for over 2 months now. As we go on to our island nation, the Hawaiian Kingdom, we have actually additional cases, and it's up to 706 cases. So that's a major concern. Okay. As we move on to the Kingdom of Tonga, they have 0 cases. Kiribati, 0 cases. Marshall Islands, 0 cases. Micronesia, 0 case. We have New Caledonia. They went up to just 3 cases for just 21 cases. Niue, they have 0 cases. Let's see. Nauru, they have 0 cases. Northern Mariana, they're at 21 cases. So they went up an additional 7 cases. As we move along to Palau, they have 0 cases. Papua New Guinea, they're stabilized at just 8 cases. As we move on to the Solomon Islands, they have 0 cases. Samoa, 0 cases. Tahiti, they're stabilizing at just 60 cases. Tokelau is 0 cases. And finally, Tuvalu at 0 cases. So the major concern now and the rise is within the Hawaiian Kingdom. As you look at the other Pacific Island nations, they have been stabilized, or just a handful of numbers of additional cases. And the reason why in the Hawaiian Kingdom we have a huge, a rise in COVID-19 is because of the U.S. occupation. We have people, foreigners flying into our island nation, and we also have the presence of the U.S. military. So that's a major concern on the Hawaiian Kingdom. As we move on to South Pacific news in Tahiti, we have the Oscar Temura, the mayor of Fa'a since 1983.
Oh.
And so the current situation with him is that the Justice Department in Tahiti, they suspended his bank account, which he had $100,000 in it. And what is the injustice on this situation is that he wasn't convicted of any crime, and yet the Tahitian government has seized his bank account. And this stems from actually a radio station that he managed in Tahiti. So this is an ongoing news piece that we're going to be following. And as we move on, we're going to go to the Cook Islands. And in the Cook Islands, they have their elections, the island election delayed because of the COVID-19. So the people of the Cook Islands are actually voicing their concern, and they would like to vote as soon as possible in elections. All right, as we move on to Tonga, they have actually this situation as the University of the South Pacific appoints an acting vice chancellor. So Professor Derek Armstrong has been appointed to act as University of the South Pacific vice chancellor and president. The university announced yesterday Well, an independent investigation is held into alleged material misconduct of the suspended University of the South Pacific Vice Chancellor and President, Professor Pai Aluvaila. So this is an ongoing news piece that we'll be covering, and stay tuned to our news of the South Pacific. So this is the South Pacific News, Saturday, June 13th.
Cornerstone, mahalo for the COVID-19 update. I know we've seen a lot of curves that would hit the zero, so that's always a great news to see our cousins out there hit that curve. And yes, concerned still yet about all these tourists coming in. And my thing is too is the carbonation as they came in because of the Governor Ige Fernandez shit show. They have misled a lot of these people to thinking they can just come, because a lot of people have been coming and been doing extracurricular activities without doing any quarantine time. But these individuals was watched over a little bit more closer because of their social media techniques and whatnot. But those numbers in Hawaiian Kingdom are rising, not rising as fast as most other places, but should be concerning because of the traffic that is still coming in, right, KP?
Oh, yes, it's a major concern because if you look at the current number, it's 706. So it's only between us and Aotearoa where we have actually, triple digits.
Okay, thanks for the South Pacific News COVID update. Cornerstone, wrapping up, smash or pass. Last three, DJ Derbs.
West Hawaii today, charges refiled against retired police captain Kako. It is amazing that a police captain accused of tipping off Hilo arcade owners prior to a 2017 police gambling raid. So we just gotta look at these crimes today stem from the root of the problem, which is January 16, 1893, 27 years of injustice, crimes, and corruption. So that's where we need to solve this thing, Kako. Yep. That's where we need to be. But meanwhile, we can't just allow this corruption to run rampant, this child sex trafficking to just run rampant, these no jail times to run rampant. We're just talking about basic human equality across the board when you commit these crimes. So in this network of prosecution, arrests, witnessing, we just need a total overhaul. And I know defund is not the word, because in Hawaii we have aloha. And that always goes along with everything, because I do support our good police. I do support good policing and all of that. But when we have things like this happening consistently, I just got to say smash, and I just got to say collusion from the Kealohas up and down. We need to fix this corruption now.
Cornerstone.
All right, so, we've actually been in this occupation for 127 years, and what we're seeking is the end of the U.S. occupation and also injustice within the Hawaiian Islands. And as we see, like the police officers, various police officers getting actually indicted for crimes, various crimes throughout our island nation, we seek justice for all. And for this situation right here, what I see is that the person or people indicted are actually innocent until proven guilty. But for us, when the day comes, either if they're found not guilty or guilty, then we will weigh in on our mana'o. So right now, my my mana'u is the solution. We'll wait until they go to court and find, the final verdict. And until then, we're just gonna wait and see. But when they are actually found guilty or not guilty, then we're gonna weigh in.
Yeah. Kako, once again, Moko Keave. So, now retired Hilo Circuit Court Judge Greg Nakamura has previously dismissed the hindering prosecution and the tampering charges, ruling records. And so, these things, it is like collusion. Because when you have Nakamura, you get Tanaka, and you get all of these fukuis all in one area, then they know each other. And that's why this is a pass down. We've seen it just recently with our ex-DHHL commissioner / officer, Liloy, where 2 judges, right, kind of just recused themselves. Well, this guy Nakamura, he just basically said, no, dismiss it. And so he left Mitch the Sloth Roth to pick up after him to help the collusion. But Mitch Roth somehow, with the pressure of trying to become the head guy in Moko Keave, he decides he has to refile. So you can see how they're picking and choosing. But I got to smash on the continuance of officers giving the Martha Stewart Inside Edition information to their family member, workers, friends, acquaintance to shut down operations. You are going to get raided. I know that's not a good thing, but I wish we had somebody in there that would tell us that the Manapua man was outside coming down the street. And these officers does it just better. They know when it's going to happen. They go ahead and make that call, and they end up getting away without physically being at the property. But once again, you can't have it without collusion. So Fukui, I can't wait to hear these things come out. Just like Brian Miller and all of these people, Lance, Stacy Yamada, we want to know what kind of collusion. We need a picture of this collusion because we know you didn't start this. All these officers they're naming, we know you didn't start the collusion. We know you guys learned it, and you guys learned it from a well-seasoned veteran. And that is what the beneficiaries or the population and community of Moko Keave need to know is who are these individuals involved? How did they do it? Is this the first time they have done it? How many times have they did? And that is leading us up to another topic coming up pretty soon after this one. But for this one, DJ Derbs, definitely a collusion, definitely a conspiracy, because these charges are coming up at a ripe time now that people need to make something happen. DJ Derbs.
I need one solution.
You need a solution.
Because the next issue coming up is a solution. And the solution looks like Chief Susan Ballard, Honolulu Police Department. So I call this a solution.
Yes.
HPD Chief okay with releasing names of disciplined officers, but not for minor violations. So I just want to understand that child abuse isn't a minor violation. So mahalo for letting us know. Tipping off gambling stores before raids is not a minor violation. But let's go to the real 127-year violation and genocide. That's what I'm talking about. So this is a solution to the 127-year violation, but we need to get there, or else you'll only be in collusion with the 127-year illegal acts. So mahalo, Chief Ballard, for starting on the path of solution, but you got 127 years left to go.
KP.
All right. So I applaud Chief Ballard for her, openness. And the thing is, we cannot decide what information we're going to hold back from the public and what we're going to actually, bring forth this, all this discipline actions against HPD. Because as a police officer, they are well informed, well educated, well trained. So, if they do anything wrong, the public should know. You cannot say, oh, okay, well, this is minor. Well, every infraction is major to us. Yes. As the general public. So we need to know all of this, all these shenanigans that these police officers are doing. So I give the Chief Ballard, a solution. She's looking, to have a solution, and that's to release the names of police officers with their misconduct. But we all need to understand, this practice of secrecy, it started in January 17th, 1893 with the start of the occupation, and this is actually part of their corrupt system, and they need to actually start looking at this really seriously, and the injustice of the U.S. occupation in Hawaii. So this is part of it. Is identifying that yes, they are the occupiers. The fake state is the occupiers. So with that, I'll give the fake state a smash.
Kako, mahalo, HPD, Chief Ballard. This is one of the reasons why I believe Wahine should be in leadership roles. Because it's the motherly instinct that kicks in eventually when the rules are contradicting itself and showing the collusion of these kind of exploitations of our keikis and these kinds of officers doing bad deeds. This is not something new. This is actually something that has been discussed many times, but for Chief Ballard to come out and say it's okay to release misconduct of police officers is basically what we were asking for with body cams. We're asking for it in body cams. We are asking for it with transparency. But when we see these officers always say he said, she said, and there's no video account, and somebody ends up being knocked out or stomped out or something happens to them, it's almost that, it's their word versus ours. And, these issues of releasing, Civil Beat did a wonderful story, could be enhanced a little bit more, but they discuss how our police officials, it's hard to receive their information if they have violated any laws, which a lot of them do, whether it's domestication of domestic abuse of a household member, whether it's drug related, whether it's intoxicated DUI. We don't even get to see these things, and that is the issue that I see at hand with the Chief Ballard supporting that we do air out the laundry. The officers are not above the law. The officers shall be held accountable to a higher standard. They are not allowed to free roam as wild wolves dressed in sheep's clothing. Look at Kealoha. That is the tip of the iceberg. His wife was the lead prosecutor that was doing all of the irreparable damages, from signing off Mauna Kea, EISs, Kealia, Down Kona, all of these projects, they had exclusive hand in it. Anything they have touched, they have spoiled, they have corrupted, they have tarnished our community, they have ravaged, they have pillaged alongside with the badge. And so we should not feel sorry for officers who know all of our information. Yeah, they can go on any time, find out our information, type in your license plate, know what you where you go, where you work. I think we should have the same equal honesty policies towards officers. We need to know this officer who repeatedly raped a child of 5 years of age repeatedly. Yeah? Where is justice? Yeah? Where is the full disclosure? We could have prevented maybe four times of those things happening to this individual, or multiple times. But no, they chose to withhold this and endanger our community, and endangered our keikis, have endangered many, many times. And that's why we, on the Dark Side of Hawaiian Politics, have a sense of urgency to discuss these issues, not as we hate these individuals or we seek to defund or do anything negative to officers. We are here to ask for transparency. We are here to ask for the keikis who cannot ask while they're being repeatedly raped. That's what we try to offer as fathers, as community members, that we open up this avenue of transparency. And you, Chief Ballard, are basically an exception to the rules, because you came out of nowhere, one of, if not the first and only HPD chief to come out and say names of disciplined officers shall be shared with the community that they serve. Collusion, that the state has continued to do this, but this is a solution because Ballard, a Manawahine, has stepped in and followed her na'au and her motherly instinct to make sure that we have full disclosure before buying this broken down junk car from we don't even know where, right? But they're telling us that there's a new paint job. He has a nice shiny chrome wheel and badge that we should be able to know underneath the hood is not running on water mixed in with oil, right? These cars could be one fucking shitty car, which most of them have a past. We should do a better job in preventing these things. Moko Keave, follow HPD Chief Ballard and her ways of addressing these things and disclose the information. Build the trust that you guys claim you have. Last up, DJ Derbs.
Institutional discrimination, institutional racism, 127 years of corruption equals genocide. Say those words, Kako. Institutional discrimination, institutional racism, 127 years of injustice. This next issue, Hawaii News Now, is an example of the 127 years of corruption. City council leaders quash heart forensic audit. So in the audit, when the whistle was blown on the corruption and the 11 billion bribery scam between the network of construction companies and political officials, Heidi Suniyoshi calls out Council Chair Ikaika Anderson, Vice Chair Ann Kobayashi for refusing to proceed with contracting for an independent forensic audit. I don't know how in the world this can occur where you stop an independent forensic audit for the audit that's in collusion. Is that, you want the colluding audit? I think that's what they're asking for. So the only solution is resolving 127 years of injustice, war crimes, institutional discrimination, institutional racism equals genocide. In my rapid aloha, you're going to see it, what it is, Kako. So, KP?
KP.
All right. So as you look at this whole situation, it's ongoing. 127 years of U.S. occupation with corruption and, stopping the audit. The only other entity that I seen that actually stopped the audit was OHA. But the failed rail, they want to actually hide all of this monies that was lost. All this corruption that's, continuing to go on with the failed rail. So, this is a great example of the 127 years of U.S. occupation. As you can see, this is a collusion. This is a collusion for ongoing spending or mismanaging monies. You're talking about millions of dollars. So we need to expose the collusion within the fake state. So I give the fake state a smash.
Kako. Ikaika Anderson, the nerve to try and interfere on the destined forensic audit that was looming from his uncle, Mufi Banana Hands Hanneman, who promised, if you look at his campaign, he would drive the state into a massive bankruptcy, and he has delivered on his vows. Mufi Banana Hanneman has shown how to bankrupt a state with one project. This guy is truly a colonizer in every sense. These things of him running back this whole candidacy for governor, right? Banana Hands. He was the bright idea to this collusion, right? The collusion. He is the head of the collusion for this one. That's why he is coming back again to pitch that he wants to be the next governor. Why? Because he has found a way to extort you more. It started off at a couple billions. Then he colluded again with some more politics, and it ballooned to an astounding, what is the number, DJ Derbs? In an astounding number of almost, where's that billion? That billion page is, 5.2 billion price. Now it's at 9.2 billion. Kako. Do you guys even know how much money that is? Or how much kalo we can purchase with that? How much houses we can put our kanakas in? I think we can even wipe out the homeless list with this. Yeah? 9 billion. We could even put our kupuna in a better place. We could even get better facilities for our kikis to learn. We could have better facilities for health center for our kids and our community to use. But no, says Mufi Banana Hands and Ikaika. You guys are just unworthy of the position, and you guys definitely are going to get a smash for the collusion that you guys continue and consistently show up and prove us right. Mufi Banana Hands, I hope you guys are voting out there and let these individuals know that you guys know that they're colluding and their collusions and their partners and who are they representing, because these taxes are coming down to us on Moko Keawe and as well as the other Mokus. And you know what? This forensic audit is nothing new. OHA needs to submit. The rail needs to submit. The police need to audit their police officers for their accountability and their badges, right? Everybody needs an audit. Whether it's a federal audit for law violation, whether it's a forensic financial audit, we need an audit upon all of these guys, even Crook Caldwell, even Ige and his cousin, Judge Ricky Mayamano. They all need an audit. These guys continue to, just like Almenia, like we described last episode, or not yet, but these people buy these homes, they flip it, and these are all the family benefits that these people receive while they're in these positions. And so, County Council, you guys definitely is going to have a smash, especially Kaika Anderson, Mr. Anderson, continuing to hold up destiny with the forensic audit. DJ Derbs.
Constitutional Oathbreaker Award for this week. We had so much issues that took priority over other issues. We was going with another one
right
earlier on this week, but we felt the most critical to participate in next week, Tuesday, don't forget, Hawaii County Police
Yes.
investigation to stop the child trafficking. So we need your support. But my constitutional oath breaker is the issue that we didn't talk about, which is a part of the whole corruption, because he's also running for mayor.
Oh,
And
yes.
that is called Keith Amemiya from Hawaii Free Press. Talks about the affordable housing scam. It's hilarious, Kako. You
gonna
gotta
get that.
check
We're
out
gonna
that
get-
Hawaii
we're gonna
Free
get that
Press
next
article
week.
and
Yeah.
watch how they turn affordable housing programs into $250,000 pocket of profit for their family. It's crazy, Kako. That is a huge collusion for mayor to be Keith Amemiya. Don't vote this guy in, because you're gonna only expect more corruption.
DJ
and
Derbs,
collusion.
bring that back next week. Bring that
Constitutional
back
oath
next
breaker.
week
Kako.
with the Hawaii Free Press, DJ Derbs, and and then you can light them up on that, because yes, we didn't share about that yet, but I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys read it. Next week we're gonna run it, and for our constitutional oath breaker, KP, who we got this week for you?
My constitutional oath breaker has to be the carbonation.
Carbonation.
Moving here, and they're kind of like suspect. They got kicked out in several other Central America countries, and we don't need people like this on our islands. And the allegation of sex crimes and stuff like that. We don't need them here. So I give them a smash, and
Right.
they're the constitutional oath breakers this week.
So, constitutional oath breaker this week, we have to give it to the Attorney General with all of these crimes stemming from the police officer pandemics, with the raping of a 5-year-old Keiki with no jail time. This one goes to you. What is her name, AG? Mrs. Con Artist. Yeah? What is her name?
Connors.
Con Artist Connors. This individual has not been able to get a grip upon their legal system, because that is what we're trying to say, is the constitutional oath breakers is usually ran upon Governor Ige, but we have to put this one on the Attorney General for continuing to arrest Kanaka Maule and continue to not hold your officers accountable to the most heinous crimes. And I think we should have a harsher punishment for this kind of constitutional oath breaker, because we're going to be talking about this more along down the week. But that's mine's for this week, is AG Connors, who continue to violate our community members and family, but quick to release a repeatedly rapist of a 5-year-old Keiki. DJ Derbs, Makahana Kaike.
So this guy, Makahana Kaike, June 16th, on Tuesday, Hawaii County, the hearing, Matt Kaneali'i Kleinfelder asked for support to initiate the investigation to stop child trafficking here. So weigh in on the meeting, get your live, email Kaneali'i in support to stop child trafficking. That's the Makahana Kaike for this week.
KP, homework.
My homework is for the community to actually be maka'ala, vigilant when you see characters from outside our occupied state trying to move in here and bring their bad practices in our country.
Yes, Makahana Kaike. Man, can't say it enough. Moko Keave Ohana. I seen you guys doing your work, your due diligence, keeping our community safe. I mahalo you guys, and I continue to ask of you guys to keep your eyes open on Hawaiian homelands. Yes, specifically Walmart, Home Depot, Target, Prince Kuhio Plaza, Down Leleaivi, all of the Hawaiian homestead areas. Be maka'ala. Have your phones charged. Be ready to call the officers when you see our kids or our other family members might be pursued on these properties. We need each other more than ever. So Makahana Kaike is not to discourage, but to say thank you with your guys' hard work and you guys' due diligence. Continue to inspire, continue to share, and we'll do our best to help malama these messages that we see from our community. Once again, makana ka'ike, continue to be the kia'i that you guys are, and we mahalo you. Lahui.
Rapid aloha for the week. I'm going to give this one ohana 20 years of rapid aloha for his work, all the way leading up to June 9th. Royal Commission of Inquiry calls upon the state of Hawaii to comply with international law and to work with the Council of Regency. So if you go to Hawaiian Kingdom blog, you can read up about it, about hopefully we will be heard. Hopefully Hawaiians will be heard. Hopefully our cries will be heard of 127 years of injustice. And hopefully the leadership that is communicated with actually hears us and takes the proper steps under the proper jurisdiction to finally resolve this 127 years of injustice. Because if they don't, kako, that means you're continuing the injustice, the institutional discrimination, institutional racism, and genocide by extermination through a prolonged process of illegal occupation, kako. So rapid aloha to the Royal Commission of Inquiry for your work and getting to this point, and let's all, kako, support their work on that level, kako. That's my rapid aloha.
KP.
All right, rapid aloha. I'd like to give a shout out to Kanaka Kava for their sponsorship. You guys can check out Kanaka Kava on their Facebook or Instagram.
Rapid aloha, mahalo to all our sponsors, Ma'ala Apa'a, Now News Now, and our Beneficiary Trust Council, Kupuna, Kane, Keikis, who continuously advocate for our national rights. And once again, to our mahalo, to our families and our support out there for joining us this Saturday. Tune in next week for your only Hawaiian Kingdom news, and don't let the government tell you what's urgent. National crisis.
DJ Derbs.
All right, so next week we're going to be on a little earlier at 6:30 in the morning.
Yes, sorry, Kako. 6:30, new episodes, new timing, sun rising early, sun going down late. So we're moving as the sun move, like KP said. Sorry we didn't let you guys know, but we will be starting 30 minutes earlier next week, Kako. Sorry for all of that. But until the next time, ku aloha aina.
Solstice, kako. Aloha.
Aloha.
You show me problems instead of solutions, while you choose who rules the schools and employ us to enjoy the agenda that you're pushing. Next you can't connect, so where's your joint resolution?
Where is it now? Where did it go? Where has it gone? I wanna know. Where is it now? Where did it go? I'm not American, and now I know. Seku down, it's too much settlers around. Seku down, we need to take back the crown. Seku down, it's too much settlers around. Seku down, destroying our sacred ground. Who are these people?